Welcome to Medicine, Motherhood, and Missions, the podcast where we dive deep into impactful and inspiring conversations with amazing professionals who've turned their challenges into stepping stones for success. I'm Johanna, your host, and each time we meet, we'll explore the stories and journeys of remarkable individuals who are PAs, doctors, professionals, mothers, and mission-driven changemakers, from the halls of the hospitals to the hearts of our homes, and into the communities we serve. Join us as we uncover the challenges, triumphs, and everything in between, and see life through each other's perspective. If you're seeking fulfillment in your career and life, I've got something special for you too. Download our free guide on how to be a fulfilled provider. It's packed with tips and insights to help you thrive while balancing the many hats you wear. And for all those parents out there dreaming big while raising little ones, check out Little Evie's Big Dreams children's book series, available now on Amazon. These heartwarming stories inspire kids to chase their own dreams, just like you're chasing yours. So grab your favorite cup of coffee or tea, settle in, and get ready for uplifting conversations that will leave you inspired and equipped to make a greater impact. Let's jump in. Hi friends, I am here today with a special guest, Breelyn Vanleeuwen. She received her PA degree from Western University in 2013. She is a Utah native, and this is where she spent her entire PA career. Initially, upon graduation, she dreamed of practicing in dermatology, but was unable to find a position. She loved surgery and found herself in urologic surgery, and truly grew to love the specialty. As the only female urology provider for 60 miles around, her practice grew quickly, and she focused on female urology. 3 years ago, she was asked to help start Utah Valley's University PA program and had been on full-time faculty until recently, when she decided to go all in her new sunscreen company, Daily Shade. She's a proud mother to 4 young children. Together with her husband, they spend their free time traveling the globe as a family. She is an advocate for patient empowerment and education. She is also a champion for daily sunscreen protection, sun protection, skincare prevention. She uses every opportunity she can with her sunscreen company to promote safe sun practices across all ages, with a special focus on youth. So thank you so much, Breelyn, for joining us today. And I'm really excited to speak with you and hear your story, your journey. It sounds really remarkable what you've accomplished so far.
Thank you.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do for fun, what led you to be a PA.
What do I do for fun? Well, I have 4 kids, so most of my fun is somehow surrounded by children activities right now, because that's my life and that's the season that I'm in. We love to travel. We just got back from a month-long trip in Florida, so our kids are still little enough that we could take them out of school and it wasn't too much hassle. We did online school with them, and we were in Florida for a whole month, and we did a Disney cruise and Disney World and went down to Marco Island, which has the best shelling. If anyone out there is into finding shells, I've never seen the most, it was just thousands of these gorgeous, intricate shells, like the kind you would buy at Joanne's Craft or something, but they're real on the ocean. And then we went down to Miami and did a trade show for our sunscreen company, Daily Shade, at Cosmoprof, and then talked to a bunch of our mom and pop boutiques that we're in Florida, and came home. So fun for me right now looks like a combination of how do I include my family in my work, and how do I have some downtime with my husband? That's what fun looks like right now for me in this stage of life.
Well, it definitely sounds like fun, and we'll definitely have to check out that, because my daughter loves looking for seashells.
You've got to go to Marco Island. It's unbelievable. So cool.
That sounds awesome. And so what led you to being a PA first? Because I know it's a whole lot to unpack, but let's start at the beginning.
Okay, being a PA. Well, originally, for my whole life, even as a little girl, I would play downstairs. I was an only child for 12 years, so I had a lot of alone time and a lot of alone play. And I found myself playing doctor downstairs in my basement almost every single day. I had patient files, and my stuffed animals were my patients. And as silly as it sounds, I gravitated toward that from the time I can remember. I loved
Hmm.
medicine. The human body was fascinating to me. The fact that someone could heal it was just a magical thing for me from the time I was little. So
Yeah.
I got to that stage of life where I graduated with my associate's degree in high school and I was doing all the things, and I became a CNA when I was 16 and worked in the nursing home till I was 18. Then I could go and be a CNA at a hospital, and I worked on the med surg floor at the University of Utah Hospital for a long time, and then made it to the mothership as a CNA, which is labor and delivery and the newborn babies. As a CNA, that was mothership. I got paid
Right.
to snuggle babies, and I would
Yeah.
I would hope for the night shifts because that's when all the moms were asleep, and I could just snuggle those newborns, and smell them.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, I did that and put in my time as a CNA and
Hmm.
doing all of the research. I was in a research lab with Wayne Potts at the U of U with mice running up my legs. One of my best friends, Meg, and I, one of my favorite memories is we would have to go into this basement of this building that was we were studying how high fructose corn syrup affected the reproduction health of mice. Okay. This
Okay.
was years ago before people were really interested in
Yeah.
ingredients, and the findings of that
Hmm.
are so cool. But this was a long time ago, 20 years ago.
Hmm.
And there was in the floor of this room in this big building at the University of Utah is a
Hmm.
field of just thousands of field mice that are like the kind, not the cute little white ones, like
Yeah.
they jump and they have teeth and they're like these wild field
Oh
mice.
my God.
And our job as these interns was to go down there as these research interns, and we'd have to like harvest the mice and look at their reproductive health and collect their poop. It was awful. But one time, my friend Meg, a mouse jumped down into her shirt and she just started stripping her clothes off and screaming. And I'm like, I can't believe we're doing this. So I put
Oh
in my
my God.
time, right? I did all the things to,
Yeah.
to do what I needed to. I had the
Yeah.
grades, I took the
Hmm.
entrance exam, all of the things. I applied to
Hmm.
medical schools, got in,
Hmm.
and realized after they sent a sheet confirming how much debt I would be taking out for medical school. And it just
Hmm.
flooded me with, I don't know, anxiety and worry that I wasn't making the right choice.
Yeah.
And I had pause, and I didn't feel like the right decision for me, which hadn't ever come up until that moment. And so I did
Hmm.
a lot of soul searching, and I'm religious. So I did a lot of praying and
Hmm.
all of the things, and decided that I loved medicine so
Hmm.
much. I loved it so much. And I had spent my entire adult life, like I didn't even do organized sports. My whole life was grades and
Yeah.
getting my associate's degree in high school and
Hmm.
taking summer school. And that was my life, was trying to
Hmm.
get into medical school. And then I was there, and all of a sudden I didn't want it as much as I thought I did, and had kind of this, it's a different story, but a whole pivotal moment where I
Hmm.
realized it wasn't quite what I wanted my life to look like in the end.
Right.
So pulled my application out, and I took a gap year and tried to figure out, well, where does this leave me? Because I know I still love medicine. So where does this
Hmm.
leave me? And
Yeah.
I came across a PA. Believe it or not, they weren't that popular 20 years ago. And I
Yeah.
didn't know any PAs, but I came across a
Hmm.
PA in an environment that I was in and thought, wait, this is the coolest thing ever. You only had to go to school for 2 years. There was no
Hmm.
residency. It fit so beautifully in my mind to what I wanted to do. I could still practice medicine, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I went to PA school, and here we are. That was a long answer, but here we are.
That's amazing though, because you actually got accepted to med school and you yourself like kind of took a moment of pause to see, what you really wanted out of life. And even just taking that financial consideration in is like remarkable because, most people, when presented that opportunity, would be like, well, we'll just go into debt and study. And so it's interesting how that thought process and decision was made.
There was an article that crossed my email, very similar time period to this
Hmm.
moment. And it was a study that was looking at females in medicine and showing
Hmm.
if a female practiced in family practice as an MD and a female practiced as a family practice PA,
Hmm.
how much would their salary be? What was the
Hmm.
difference in all of that financially speaking? And not
Hmm.
that that should be the whole thing, but it's definitely a
Mm-hmm.
piece of the puzzle.
Definitely.
And over the course of a career, taking into account the years that you work and the debt and all of those
Mm-hmm.
things, the difference between the MD and the PA at the time was $75,000 over the course of a lifetime of work.
Oh, wow.
And I think I looked at those numbers and thought, man,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't sound worth it at all.
Mm-hmm.
75,000 doesn't sound worth it. And only because there was a lot else I wanted to do outside of practicing medicine. I knew I wanted to
Right.
be a young mom and I wanted to have a
Mm-hmm.
big family.
Mm-hmm.
And that did play into my decision in a big way. Now, I have friends who are MDs and they have
Mm-hmm.
families and it has worked out great for them. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to
Right.
discourage anyone who's looking into that.
Mm-hmm.
I just think you have to look at the reality of all of it and
Mm-hmm.
design the life that you want. And whatever
Mm-hmm.
life that is for you and what works for you
Mm-hmm.
best, do it, create it, go for it. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, when I was looking and forecasting 20, 30 years down the road,
Mm-hmm.
the PA role fit for me at the time with
Yeah.
kids. And the reality is, now that I'm here and I'm almost 40 and I have 4 kids, I will say that when people come in and they interviewed for PA programs, I'm involved with interviews for the PA program here, and they
Mm-hmm.
say the line, I want to be a PA because I get to have more time with my patients
Mm-hmm.
and a better schedule. Now being
Uh-huh.
here, I laugh at that because the truth is, medicine is medicine. And as a
Mm-hmm.
PA in urologic surgery, I was hustling through my patients as fast as the MD down the hall. I
Yeah.
didn't get more time with my patients. My schedule
Mm-hmm.
was just as full as his was.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big misnomer in the
Mm-hmm.
PA practice. There are advantages, but that isn't one. And then
Right.
setting your own schedule, that's definitely not one either,
Yeah.
because as the PA, you are held to whatever your
Yeah.
MD is
Yeah.
going to give you for a schedule, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't get to set that schedule. And so I think as a 20-year-old and a 40-year-old, I see things so differently, but I still
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't change the path of being a PA. But
Mm-hmm.
I think also your perspective on things
Mm-hmm.
changes a lot over, a couple of decades. But
Yeah.
I don't want to put that out there saying you should be a PA because you're going to have a better schedule and you're going to see more patients and your life's going to be so much better and easier. This is not the case. This is not
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
You go to a shorter amount of school. Yes. You
Mm-hmm.
do not have to do a residency currently. True. You take
Mm-hmm.
on less debt. True.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the advantages, but the
Uh-huh.
rest of it, medicine is hard and it's exhausting, and we all get burned out, and we all
Yeah.
face those moments where it is what it is. It's the man behind the curtain at the Wizard of Oz, where you're like, whoa, you're not a wizard, like, you're a man. And
Yeah.
I think we've all had those moments. So yeah, I don't know. As a 20-year-old, I had different motivations than I do now as a 4-year-old, but yeah.
Yeah. It's true. It's life is what you make of it. And but I think it's still remarkable as a 20-year-old to like think about the financial impact long term
Yeah.
versus the short term opportunities and things like that.
Yeah,
So
it played into my
that's pretty
decision in a
interesting.
really big way because I wanted
Hmm.
kids and I wanted them when I was young, and I didn't want to
Yeah.
do it when I was in residency. I just knew that wasn't for me. And not that you can't do that and it works out
Hmm.
so well for people. I just from me and myself, what I wanted and how I wanted motherhood to look,
Hmm.
it wasn't it wasn't what I wanted. So I
Yeah.
had to design and figure out a way to make it all fit together.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah. And I love having this podcast because it's like talking about those stories and how like everyone has these different journeys, different opportunities, different decisions they've made to make life work for what they want out of life. And
Right.
it kind of leads me to the next question because your journey then in your work, when did it like change to start your business? And what was that pivotal moment? Because, went from PA to now entrepreneur and business owner.
Yeah, a little bit of a shift. So I would say the first whisperings of the idea that I had actually came when my mind was in a little bit more of a quiet place. I'm someone that's
Mhm.
type A. I love to be busy. I love to have my list, check stuff off. I'm just, it's just who I am. And at the time, my husband, his job took us to South Alabama. So I'm from Utah. His job took us to South Alabama, and we actually bought a home there. We kept our home here, but we bought a home there and we moved there
Uh-huh.
for a few years.
Right.
And I was practicing medicine, but I was flying back and forth. It was a really crazy time. I was flying back and forth to practice medicine, and then COVID hit in 2020, and I wasn't flying anywhere. We were in South Alabama. I didn't have any family, very, very few friends. I had, like 2 friends in Alabama. And there I was with my 2 little girls. We had a swimming pool in the back. And the first whispering of this came when my little girl turned 1 year old. I was on the beach with her. We were doing a cake smash in Seaside, Florida, right by Destin. And we ran out of our normal sunscreen. So we just bought one at the gas station, and it was the one with the baby and the diaper and the dog's pulling it down. It's copper tone, the pink bottle. Covered her in that. And it said babies right on the front. So no one's thinking twice about it. Just grab it and slap it on her. And she broke out in a terrible rash, and her face got really swollen and red, and she was itchy. And I have all this on video, and you can hear us in the background saying, "What's going on? What is she allergic to? What's happening? Was it the strawberry smoothie she just had? What's happening? She's miserable. She's crying, And it turns out it was the chemical sunscreen that she was allergic to. And I had never really thought about the difference between chemical and physical barrier sunscreen. Even in PA school, there's no class on formulation. When we do our derm section, no one's telling you, hey, this is how you formulate No, we're not talking about that. This is sunscreen. These are the reasons to wear it. So that was my first whispering, because when I started using natural zinc sunscreens on her exclusively, it was insane to me how horrible they looked. It was just either greasy and buttery or white and pasty and thick. And I just thought, how can we have, a man on the moon, cars that drive themselves, and my daughter this is the best we can do for safe sunscreen for our kids. This is all we've got. And I bought, 55 iterations of all natural zinc sunscreens. I actually have them in a jar. Let's see if I can grab it. With my American flag. Like, I have all these sunscreens, right, that I bought.
Oh, wow.
Trying to find some natural sunscreen that worked for my daughter, and there just wasn't one that was available. So my first whispering was then when I had this quiet moment in 2020 in South Alabama of, hey, there's nothing out there that I need. What if I made it? What if I created it? Right? That was sort of the first moment for me. And so I started the process clear back in 2020. We established our name. We got the business license. I found my chemist. We started formulating. And little did I know it would take us 4 years to come out with the product because of how difficult sunscreen is to manufacture and create from scratch. We didn't just take an existing formula and slap our name on it like a white label. We created something totally new that's never been done before. And because sunscreen's a drug, it has to go through the FDA. It's considered an OTC product, not a cosmetic. There's a lot of testing that goes into that I wasn't, I know we talked about this a little bit before we started this, but I was so naive to what it looked like and what it required. I'm glad I didn't know, because I would have been like, oh, I'm good, I'm out. I didn't know this is how hard it was going to be. But I didn't know, and we pushed through, we persevered, and we created this really clean formula that's 99.4% naturally derived. It does not have UV hidden chemical filters like butyl octosalicylate. Because one of the things I found is that I would use some natural zinc sunscreens with quotes, big, huge quotes on there, because they would claim to be mineral or zinc and natural. And my daughter would still have this horrible reaction, and I couldn't figure it out, because I'm like, well, I'm using zinc sunscreen. Why is she still breaking out? And what I discovered is there's UV chemical filters not registered with the FDA that companies can put in the sunscreen, but they don't have to put the amount or percentage that they're using. They can just load it in because it's not considered an active. So like butyl octosalicylate is a twin to octosalicylate. It's a UV chemical filter not registered with the FDA. So that's the loophole. So companies can dump that in there. It makes zinc feel really great, because all of a sudden it's not a zinc sunscreen, it's a chemical sunscreen, but they're marketing it as a zinc sunscreen. It's very sneaky. And I was really frustrated by this whole process of, wait, they can lie on a bottle. They don't have to be honest about what this is. They can say it's clean and it's not clean. They can put all these chemical filters in it and not make that an obvious statement on their marketing. Yeah, they can do all of those things currently. And I hope with this new movement coming through of everyone so concerned with what we're putting into our kids and eating and ingredients, I hope this is a big shift that we see in cosmetics and sunscreens is there has to be a better regulation so that consumers understand exactly what they're buying, and it's not so sneaky and undisclosed. So our sunscreen company, it was really important to me to make one that is every line, no matter which line you pick up, you can be sure it's all zinc, free of UV chemical filters, naturally derived, and designed for safety for your kids. So That's our company. And the best part is it disappears like magic. So it looks like they're wearing nothing. So now my little girls wear sunscreen every single day, and you would never know it because it just disappears like magic on their skin. But it took us a long time to figure out how to make zinc look good because zinc
Yeah.
is zinc. So, yeah.
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 All the pasty white and just like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. Yeah. Especially like when, yeah, we take our little girl out during the summers and we want to put sunscreen on her and on ourselves too. And then it's just like blotches all over the
I know.
place. So it's really interesting.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to try yours and see how
Thanks.
that works.
Yeah.
But it's amazing though how like you actually had this idea to I want something better for my daughter and
Yeah.
my daughters, and let me see how I can do it. And it's not just like a wishful thinking like we sometimes do, like, I wish there was something better. You actually like took the time, steps, and actually went after it. Like,
Thank
how in
you.
the world did you even get to that point of like starting? Like, it's amazing. How did you like look into finding all these people, places, the chemist, and that's a pretty amazing endeavor.
It's yeah, and it is overwhelming. It's still overwhelming. We
Hmm.
launched 7 months ago, and there's so many things I don't know about business that I'm just learning every day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait, I practice medicine. This isn't what I do. And I still feel overwhelmed on a very regular basis, and I'm
Hmm.
still trying to figure it all out.
Hmm.
And the truth is, like my husband's an entrepreneur, and I've
Hmm.
watched him do his journey for the last 15 years. And
Hmm.
you know what the reality is no one really knows what they're doing. You just put one foot in front of the other and you look stuff up as best you can and you
Yeah.
find people who are smarter than you in that area and who are
Hmm.
better at something than you are, and you try to find the best people you can, and
Hmm.
you ask a lot of questions and put one foot in front of the other. But literally, I remember thinking, like, how do you, I mean, the most basic, how do you start a
Hmm.
business? I'm Googling, how do you start a business? Like, how do you get a business license? Do you have to register through the United States or through your state? I mean, there's all these questions that were just like, there's no book telling you. There actually
Yeah.
is a book. It's called
Yeah.
How to Start a Business for Dummies. There actually is a book that tells you that, but I found it to be a little bit outdated. So there was
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
research on my end that it was just, you just have to put one foot in front of the other and try every day to move the peg forward just a little bit and
Hmm.
try to figure it out. But I think the key is to find the best people for what you need. So I found the
Hmm.
best, we own a patent. So we have a patent
Hmm.
on our sunscreen coming out later this year. It's the women's line. We have a patent. So I found the best patent attorney, right? I
Hmm.
found the best formulator that I could. I found an all natural formulator, and the sunscreen world is really, really small. It's not a big world because the level of entry into the sunscreen world is
Hmm.
so high. It discourages a lot of people from entering into it. And the
Hmm.
manufacturing of sunscreen is a hot mess. So it's a very small world, but I
Hmm.
found the best formulator that I could. And
Hmm.
you just surround yourself with people who are better at the
Yeah.
things than you are. And then
Hmm.
I try to focus on the places where I can and where I'm good. But
Yeah.
you get help, you know? I,
Yeah.
I don't, I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't hire some kind of, business advisor or anything like that. I just
Hmm.
Googled. I did a lot of Googling.
You just took one step at a time and
One
went
step at a
forward.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
did.
that's all you can do. And that's amazing because it's just a testament to your entrepreneurship and just willingness to try. And
Thanks.
I think that's amazing. And how has that changed you? How has starting this business changed you compared to, just, starting out as a PA, then starting PA programs, but starting this new business? What have you seen that is different?
Yeah, I think Man, I think failure scares a lot of people, including myself, right? So I had to have
Mhm.
this mind shift around failure because I remember one of my best friends, Kelly, when I was on the phone with her, I was in Alabama, she was here, and I was like, I really want to make sunscreen, but I don't know how to make it. So I'm going to make hats because I love hats. I'll just make sun hats. That seems easier. She's like, you don't know how to make hats. And I'm like, no, I don't know how to make hats. She's like, then why don't you make sunscreen? Because you don't know how to make that either, but it's what you really want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, why don't I do that? That's what I really want to do.
Mhm.
Instead of being afraid because I didn't know how to do something, it was just this perspective shift where she's like, but you don't know how to do that either. It's the same. Maybe it's a little different level of hard, but it's hard. It's all the same.
Right.
So I think failure is something that with my kids, I have tried to change the
Mhm.
focus of how that feels for them. So when they come home and we talk about, like, what did you do at school today? It's more like, what did you try out today that didn't go well? Where did you fail today? What didn't
Right.
go great? And then when they tell us, I'm like, good for you. You tried something that was hard, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And I think this is important. Sarah Blakely's dad did this with her and her children. She's the founder of Spanx. And when I heard that, I'm like, you know what? I've really taken that into our family and onto our kind of view
Mhm.
of life on this failure journey because
Mhm.
as an entrepreneur, there's a lot of failures and
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that go wrong and there
Mhm.
are very few things that go right. It's like
Yeah.
there's these moments that you put out on social media or whatever that are like, look at this accomplishment. And
Yeah.
behind that are
Mhm.
25 billion things that didn't go right to get you to that moment, right? I
Exactly.
can't tell you how many times I was this close to not continuing on the journey of launching this product because we'd had
Mhm.
so many failures.
Yeah.
SPF failures and OTC testing failures and FDA issues and formulation. It was just one thing after another where it was like
Mhm.
a sucker punch. And I'm like, I don't know if I can take any more of this. I literally, and there was one point when we were in California and I got this call and it was something about an ingredient and I just put my phone down and I'm like, I'm down. I'm done. I can't do this. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then after a couple of hours of me like wallowing in my sadness for a second, I pulled
Yeah.
myself back up and had a
Yeah.
good cry with my husband and he talked to me and you
Yeah.
know, you have to have good people around you that are
Mhm.
positive and encouraging for this moment and
Yeah.
then he said, "Look, we don't fail in this family." Or
Mhm.
we don't give up in this family. If we fail, we try again. And I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? We don't give up in this family. We don't give up. We try again. We get back up.
Mhm.
So this journey has solidified.
Mhm.
I kept saying that to my kids and saying that to my students, like fail big was a big thing when I was teaching
Mhm.
that, look, fail here in front of me in the classroom so you can succeed with your patients, fail big. We had this whole thing.
Uh-huh.
And then as an entrepreneur, I was all of a sudden living what I was preaching. And man, it was
Yeah.
hard. It was so much harder to live it than just to preach it.
Yeah.
And I think entrepreneurship just changed me as it's made me more resilient as a
Mhm.
person, that
Mhm.
I have learned to handle so much more and more failure than I ever thought I could. And now when I get a call with bad news, I don't buckle. I'm like, that sucks. Okay, let's pivot. How do we do it? How do we fix it? What should we do? And I think that's been a huge shift because I thought I had that. I thought I was that way. And then when you're put into the trial of it and you're
Mhm.
tested with it, you're like, wow, I'm not as strong as I thought I was in this area. And you have to dig real deep and figure out if you can come out on the other side and keep going.
Yeah.
And that's what entrepreneurship is. It's just,
Mhm.
it's the person who can outlast the longest and persevere through all the failures because most of it is hard and doesn't go great, to be
Mhm.
honest.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Edison, right? He said he had 99 ways of how not to make light bulbs.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. That's how I
Right?
felt with this sunscreen. It was like you have this shining moment where you post this product you launch, but I thought, man, I wish people could see the 99 billion other things that didn't work out to get you to this because
Yeah.
honestly, that's where all the learning took place. That's where we
Mhm.
figured out how to create this. And in
Exactly.
all of this learning, that's how we figured out how to make these other two products from these
Mhm.
failed moments, right?
Yeah.
So there's
Mhm.
so much value in the failure. You don't learn when you
Mhm.
win easy. Like no one
Yeah.
learns from that.
You
You
learn from
learn when you
mistakes.
fail and have to
Mhm.
overcome it and fix it and adjust. Like that's the learning piece.
Yeah.
So with my kids, I always try to encourage that. And I don't ever want them to not have those moments where they have that failure experience because
Mhm.
man, life is hard. And I want them to learn how to pick themselves up over
Mhm.
and over and over again because
Yeah.
that is life. It's not sunshine and roses all the time. We try to have a happy, positive perspective,
Hmm.
but at the same time, remind them that, look, most days are just days, and most days are tough days, and most days are filled with
Hmm.
some hard things. And then every now and then you get a big win, but
Hmm.
you pick yourself up and you keep going even when it's hard, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. And I think sometimes we kind of focus on that word failure so much in such a negative connotation when in life it's a constant series of learning,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's not ever, there isn't any one particular success. Sometimes it's just you're always going to be learning, you're always going to be on this journey. And so sometimes we put too much pressure on, like, ourselves, or our kids feel the pressure to perform and reach this, I succeeded at this particular thing, but it's, and then if they don't get that, then there's just that failure of not achieving it. But then when we take that pressure off of us saying, okay, we need to get to this level of success or this particular thing, instead of it just being like it's a series of opportunities and a series of things that are to be done in the journey, then it kind of relieves that pressure and takes that failure off of us in a way too, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
in
Oh,
your
yeah.
whole manufacturing process, it's a process. It's not, it's going to be constant reiterations and development, because I'm sure in the future you'll have so many other different products, different things that, come down the line, that it's not just one particular thing, right?
Oh, yeah. And with my kids, I think that's everything. That perspective is everything to give them because there's so many there's so much coming at them that tells them that life comes easy,
Hmm.
instant reward, instant gratification, social media, Amazon delivery, Walmart drops off my groceries. Like, oh, dude, this is so easy.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I think that is such a huge reminder that, like, if they do something and it goes great, that's awesome. But the
Hmm.
cooler part would be if you went for something that you failed at, because that means you tried for something that was
Hmm.
hard. Like you
Yeah.
went for something that was outside of your comfort zone, that was
Yeah.
not an easy thing.
Hmm.
So if you didn't do great at it, that's cooler to me than if you succeeded over here. Cause like, okay, great, you mastered that. Let's go. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's a huge, as far as a parenting, I was having a conversation with some ladies yesterday and we were talking
Hmm.
about kind of what is your parenting philosophy? And that is mine and my husband's is
Hmm.
fail big in life. Go
Hmm.
for it. Try
Hmm.
hard things. And if
Yeah.
you don't make it, that's okay.
Yeah.
Pivot, try again.
Hmm.
And it's been so cool to have my
Yeah.
children with me during this process to see, because they've
Hmm.
seen the tears and the hard moments and the
Yeah.
failures and me having to pick myself back up. And, that's our line. Like, we don't give up in this family. We don't give up in this family. So we have our
Yeah.
cry, we have our emotions, we experience that together.
Yeah.
And then, okay, what are we going to do? How are we going to move forward? How are we going to fix it?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's really amazing, and such a great thing for your children to see, that whole process, and a great opportunity. So what, like, I know that's a big thing for you that you've learned as a business owner, but what is something that you prioritize as a business owner?
Um, Something I prioritize as a business owner. I'll tell you right now what my focus is. I actually have a necklace on that is this. It's a compass. I don't know if you can see, but it
Mhm.
like has north, south, east, and west. It's a compass.
Cool.
My husband and I both have one. His is a
Uh-huh.
lot bigger, like the chain, but yeah, we
Uh-huh.
both wear it because I think my focus as the CEO and founder is to keep our company headed in the right direction. And we just went to a big trade show in Miami called Cosmoprof, where we had a booth, and there's thousands of people that are there that want to come up and talk to you, and they want your business and your time and your money, and they want to do all these things for you, which that's part of why you go. And
Mhm.
some of it is good, but a lot of it is just noise, and it is distracting you from the main thing.
Mhm.
So I try to remember to keep the main thing, and to be
Mhm.
the compass that is taking us in the right direction.
Yeah.
And I think the the mission for me is to remember what are our end goals, where do we want to be, and how do we best get there and not get distracted by the minutia over here, and what are the
Mhm.
best decisions for our company.
Yeah.
And as a new company, I'm wearing a million different hats. I'm not
Mhm.
just, I don't get to just be the CEO. I'm the marketer. I'm the person doing, I have someone that helps with fulfillment, but I'm over the fulfillment center. I'm the person who's doing all of the, ingredient ordering and talking with the manufacturers and designing our label and working with our designer to get that right and I'm wearing every hat there possibly could be.
Yeah.
So one day it would be nice to source a lot of that out.
Yeah.
But the current most important focus of who I am is to remember to keep the main thing, and keep us on
Mhm.
the right trajectory to where we want to go and not get
Mhm.
distracted by all of this, because there's a
Mhm.
lot of this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's my biggest focus right now, is being the compass for my company and making sure we're going in the right direction.
I think that's important for anyone to understand is that vision. What is your vision? What is the main important directional force that will keep your mission in line, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you lose focus of that, then it just gets blurry.
So true. And decisions are so much easier when you know where you're going. It's
Hmm.
so much easier to say, you know what, this isn't a good
Hmm.
fit. This isn't a good fit. I don't need to take this call because it's not going to go toward where I need to be.
Hmm.
The decision, they're not easy, but they become easier when
Uh-huh.
you have that really clear vision in your mind of where you want to be. And that,
Hmm.
honestly, at the beginning, that was really hard to remember and think because, like, for one small example, I had someone come to me and say, "Hey, I think you'd be a really great fit for Target and all these really cool retailers." And as a brand new company, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I would totally be a great fit for Target. They would love to have me." So flattered that someone would think that. But
Uh-huh.
the truth is, now looking back in hindsight, that was such a distraction, because the reality of my company right now is that I had so many things to get in place to be ready for that retailer that it was just
Hmm.
a distraction from the main focus. But
Hmm.
these are the learning moments. And,
Hmm.
again, the failures that I'm like, I shouldn't have done that. That was a fail, right? Like, that was a failure from on my end as a CEO. Like, that was a fail. But it's okay. I'm going to course correct and put
Hmm.
us in the right direction. And this is where we're going. And I'm not going to get distracted by these other things.
Yeah.
So that's just one example. But yeah, if you don't keep that end goal in mind, and it's not just the vision, it's the direction of how you're going to get there. Like,
Hmm.
you have to have the roadmap to how you're going to get there. Otherwise, if you just have the vision and you're like, well, we could do this way, or we could go this road or this road, you're going
Right.
to get lost. You got to
Yeah.
have the roadmap. And at the beginning of this company, I
Hmm.
didn't know any of that, but I
Hmm.
have formulated that over the last little while and created
Right.
that vision for myself and that roadmap.
Right.
But it took a minute. I didn't just
Hmm.
wake up and know what I was doing at all in any way. Yeah.
Yeah. That's remarkable. And um, I just love how you've just, kind of, acknowledged that, you started out not knowing how in the world to like do any of this, but you've gained knowledge over time, which, you do as you're taking those steps to um, get into the business and, learn how to develop the products. It's just amazing. And how do
Thank
you
you.
like stay focused, not just in your business, but stay focused when juggling business, medicine, family, everything?
So
Well,
hard.
now you're
It's
not
all
you're not practicing medicine right now, right?
I'm not, and I did transition into teaching full time. So I was
Uh,
a tenure track faculty professor at Utah Valley University's PA program, and
uh,
I helped get their program off the ground and taught at their
mhm,
program for the first 3 years. And I quit last month, actually,
mhm,
which is a really, really big decision for me, because it was a great job and it was a great mom job. Right, the
mhm,
schedule was more flexible than medicine. The
right.
reality of medicine, like I kind of touched on before, is that there's not a
Mhm,
flexibility in it. Like, your
yeah.
schedule is when your patients are
Mhm,
there, and if your patients are there, you're in that office and you're seeing patients,
mhm,
and then you're charting at the end of the day and you're rounding on them and you're
yeah.
doing call on the weekends. Medicine
Mhm,
isn't glamorous in any
mhm,
way. I think
yeah.
anyone who's practiced in it can It's not Grey's Anatomy. It's
Yeah.
different, right? I mean, medicine is
Yeah.
not glamorous. It's the
Yeah.
reality of caring for people is a big
Hmm.
deal, and the
Yeah.
schedule isn't that flexible. It's pretty rigid. So when I
Hmm.
transitioned into teaching full time, that was a lot more flexible for me as a mother. And I have 4 children, and I had a set of twins during my time of working there, actually. And yeah, I could not have worked full time practicing medicine with a set of newborn twins and 2 other children at home, but I was able to do that with teaching and work out that schedule. So leaving that job was a really massive decision for me. It wasn't something that I took
Hmm.
lightly.
Hmm.
And the balance word, man, I don't think there's balance. That's a tough word for me because the truth is,
Hmm.
if I'm recording this podcast, I'm missing out on reading stories to my kids. It's 11:30, they're getting ready to take a nap, and I'm not up there reading them a story. That's just the reality of this moment, right? Like they're up there getting
Yeah.
read to by a babysitter, and I'm sitting here doing a podcast. But I'm choosing that because I know that at
Hmm.
2 o'clock, I get to be full-time mom with them until they go to bed. That is the
Yeah.
reality of my day. That's what I've decided and chosen, right?
Uh-huh.
So it takes, again, a lot of organizing and a lot
Hmm.
of compromising, and the balance thing, it's never like this. If I'm doing
Yeah.
great at something, I'm probably sucking somewhere else, and if I'm here, I'm not over here. But I can always make that at the end feel a little bit more, I hate the word
Hmm.
balance, but more balanced.
Yeah.
But I can't do everything all at once, and that was something that I
Hmm.
had to really stomach. Is I really want to do this company, this is where my passion is,
Hmm.
and I really want to get Daily Shade off the ground, but I can't do that and be a full-time faculty professor and a mother of 4. Something has to give.
Yeah.
And so I quit my job as a professor to pursue this dream of mine. And obviously I
Yeah.
couldn't drop the kids. So they're there. I couldn't I couldn't let go of them. They're my glass balls that I couldn't drop, right? They're there. So you have to just organize it, and it is really hard. And I have a lot of really great help. I think that's the other piece, that as women, I don't
Hmm.
know why I was so resistant to help and getting
Yeah.
help, but my husband is the one who pushed and pushed and pushed for it. Like, look, let's just get people to help us do the stuff that they can fill in, and
Hmm.
that frees you up. I was so
Yeah.
resistant to it, but we hired
Yeah.
a full-time nanny.
Uh,
Also, not a great word. I hate the word nanny. Anyway, but she's here with me
yeah.
full time, and
Uh-huh.
that has been. I tell her this all the time. I could never have survived twins and full-time work as a professor without you. I could never do this business without you. Like, she is
Hmm.
pivotal to my life because
Right.
she makes all the pieces come together and work out. Because when I'm
Hmm.
upstairs and there's dishes and all these things to do, she jumps in and does that, and I get to be with my babies, right? So
Yeah.
finding people that can help you make your life work has been
Hmm.
everything to me. I don't ever want people to think that I'm like, oh, you can do it all yourself and look at all that I'm doing. No, no, no. I just am really good at delegating and getting a lot of help to do my life. That is the
Yeah.
reality. If you want to do all of the things, is you need
Yeah.
help. You have to have people to help you. And
Hmm.
yeah, she's changed my life. Like I told her, it's like just this angel that came into my life that yeah, you need help. You can't do it all by
Yeah.
yourself. And I never want women to think
Hmm.
that's happening, because behind the
Hmm.
scenes, I have a lot of help. I have a lot of people helping
Yeah.
me do my day.
Yeah. I think I don't know where this concept came into being and how, but we are putting so much pressure on ourselves to have to do everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know why we want to have to show the world we're doing everything by ourselves
Why?
when
Why did that ever
community
happen?
is,
I don't know where that
yeah,
came from. And I fell into that
exactly.
too until my husband was like,
Yeah.
what's your problem? Why don't you want to have someone help you come in and do this? I'm like, I
Yeah.
can do it. And he's like, yeah, but also you don't have to. What if I needed someone to help me mow the lawn? I hire a guy to help me mow the lawn, and I don't think twice about it. Why are you worried about getting someone to help you do laundry or help you pick up the house or help with kid? Like, what
Mhm.
is that thing in your mind? And I
Yeah.
don't know where that comes from, that stigma
Yeah.
of, I don't know. Like, maybe
Yeah.
I already have mom guilt for working and having kids, so I think, oh, I'll show the world that I can do it all. And the truth and the reality is that I can't do it all well. I would have a nervous
Yeah.
breakdown or be a terrible mother, or my house would always be a mess, or my business would fail. Like, it just isn't real. That's just not real. And the
It's
reality is, as
not.
women, get help to make the things work that you need, because
Hmm.
that's okay. That's okay. I don't know
Yeah.
why I thought it ever wasn't, but
Yeah.
that was
And
a
you
big
have to
mind shift I had to
act.
make.
Yeah. And you have to actually ask for help. You can't just, you have to, ask for help, whether it is, community or hiring or whatever, because, other societies or, in older generations, there were more community supports. There were, I
Yeah.
think more of those community mindsets, whereas now the current way we live is totally different, maybe, and that's why we've come to this way of thinking of like, oh, we have to do everything all by ourselves, which
Yeah, we're
is
so
not healthy.
isolated. I
It's,
know my
yeah.
grandma used to say that when she was growing up, they lived in a cul-de-sac where her grandma and her aunt and all of her cousins and her mom lived. They were all right there in the same neighborhood. And
Uh-huh.
so there was so much help. Like there was
Yeah.
not babysitting, but kind of like the kids were playing and
Uh-huh.
they were around, and there was, if they're going to the grocery store, they pick groceries up for them. There was just this community, and now it's
Right.
isolated. We're kind of in this
Yeah.
isolated
Hmm.
social media generation, and it
Hmm.
can be really isolating and lonely. And
Yeah.
I had a husband that just pushed for that and pushed for that so
Yeah.
hard. And I don't
Yeah.
think most people have that person pushing for that, right? So
Right.
you're going to have to be the
Mhm.
advocate for yourself
Exactly.
and find ways, like maybe you could trade off with a friend and say, I'll take
Hmm.
this day, you take this day, so that one of you can have a day off to go
Hmm.
pursue whatever it is you want to pursue, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't know, like there's just, really darling women in my neighborhood who their kids are out of the house and their grandmas, and they probably would love to babysit for a little bit and just pay them a tiny bit of money, right? Like
Yeah.
I think I think there's always ways to make it work. You
Hmm.
just have to
Be
search for
creative.
those and set it up and design the life, right? That's the
Yeah.
hardest part. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it goes back to what you were saying about like people going into PA school thinking it's going to be like this, but then it's
Yeah.
totally different.
It's
Like,
not. Yeah.
medicine
Yeah.
is, as you said, it's medicine across the board. You deal with all the bureaucracies,
Yeah.
legalities, and everything that comes with practicing medicine, which is, not always just easy and fun.
It's not. It's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah. No matter
And it's
how,
not, it's hard.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, I love that I saw a quote on your Instagram. It was one of the most powerful combinations in a world is a woman who is both is a nurturing mother and a successful entrepreneur, proving that strength and compassion can coexist in perfect harmony. I guess Sheryl Sandberg said this. And
And the thing I
so,
would add to the bottom of
yeah,
that is
uh-huh.
with a lot of help,
With a
right?
lot
Like
of
that
help.
would be that
Yeah.
would be the line to add is that doesn't happen in isolation. It doesn't
Yeah.
happen in a vacuum.
Uh-huh.
That is a really powerful thing, but the only way you do that is with a lot of help because you
Yeah.
can't do it all and you can't be it all on your own at the same
Mhm.
time. You just can't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And we have to get rid of the stigma that, comes with if you aren't doing it all by yourself or if you aren't focusing only on one thing, then, we have to get rid of that kind of stigmas.
Yeah. It's
And
causing a lot of depression in women and some nervous
right.
breakdowns for sure, without
Hmm.
question. Yeah.
Yeah. And how has being a mom helped you be a better entrepreneur?
Being a mom is the best part of my entire life. And also, there were a lot of unexpected things to it that I felt like, oh, this isn't quite what I thought it would feel like, you
Hmm.
know? Like there's so much of it that is the best part of what I do, but also, yeah, there's just things that you don't expect to feel as a mom where you're like, wow, I didn't expect to feel suffocated. I didn't expect to feel so a little bit resentful, or I didn't expect to feel all whatever the negative feelings are.
Hmm.
And I will tell you that again, the best thing I ever did was free myself up to, and again, it's to go back to getting help so that I could enjoy being a mother
Hmm.
and not have to feel all of those feelings of resentment or that I'm not able to do what I want to do. I
Hmm.
think I've read something and it sticks to me, and I think about it all the time.
Hmm.
One of the most powerful indicators of if your child will be happy later in life
Hmm.
is the satisfaction and happiness in life that the mother had. Like
Yeah.
how happy and satisfied was your mother raising you? Because if you're being raised by a mother who feels like she's not reaching her full potential, that
Hmm.
she's not doing what she needs to do to be the
Mm-hmm.
person that she gets to be. She's got one. I have one life too, right? Like my kids get one life, you get one life, I get one
Mm-hmm.
life. This is it. We're in it.
Yeah.
And it could be over tomorrow. Like this is my one life I get.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm a mother and it's the best thing that I do. It's the most
Mm-hmm.
important thing that I do. And it's what I do
Yeah.
everything for is for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also a woman and I'm also a person that has dreams and hopes and aspirations outside of this motherhood bubble. And I never want my kids to feel like their existence prevented me from being everything that I wanted to be. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the greatest gift that I've given to my kids is allowing myself to have that
Yeah.
and and fulfill that within myself, which I know that can sound selfish, and I'm not saying it in a selfish way because I'm not going out and getting massages and getting my nails done. It's not something like that, right? Like
Yeah.
it's something bigger than that. And I want my kids to see that. I want my kids
Mm-hmm.
to see that I live life to the fullest and to the way that
Mm-hmm.
I feel in my soul that I want to
Mm-hmm.
live so that they have that freedom to go do that too. And
Mm-hmm.
that whatever they do in life isn't like if I don't do this, my mom won't be happy. It's like, no, I'm happy with their I got that. Like I
Yeah.
fulfilled that within my own self. I'm happy
Yeah.
without all of that.
Exactly.
You get to
Yeah.
go do
Mm-hmm.
yours because
Yeah.
I've done it for me, even with my
Yeah.
husband. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's my best friend. He's my partner in everything that I do. I
Mm-hmm.
truly married somebody who I feel like is my soulmate. But
Yeah.
the reality is, I'm totally fulfilled without him in
Mm-hmm.
existence. That's
Yeah.
just the reality. And if he wasn't
Mm-hmm.
here tomorrow, I'd have to find a way to keep my life going without him here.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be a whole person in
Mm-hmm.
all of the ways, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that even answers your question, but I think the entrepreneur part has changed me in this part that like I didn't even know I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't set out to be this,
Yeah.
but turns out it's where my passion is and
Mm-hmm.
creating something from nothing. I can't tell you the experience
Mm-hmm.
that was when I was in the manufacturing house and I saw my product come to life. It
Yeah.
was one of the most emotional experiences because I created that from nothing. And my mom's like, "We did
Mm-hmm.
that with your kids," and I'm like, I didn't get to determine how they turned out. I would have made them better sleepers. I would have made like I didn't get to create like yes, I created that, but I didn't have any say as to how they came out. They came out how they came out, right? This is how they are. With this other thing, I got to create I got it to be exactly what I created it to be, what I visioned it to be. And I've never had that before. And I didn't know how cool that was. And for
Mm-hmm.
me personally, I didn't know how much that would impact me until it happened.
Uh-huh.
And turns out I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an inventor, I'm a creator, and I didn't know that about myself, honestly,
Yeah.
but it's made me a better, happier, more fulfilled mom because now when we're together,
Mm-hmm.
man, we get it's just all of the good, right? And they
Yeah.
get to come along for the journey and the
Mm-hmm.
ride, and I think it's made me a better person and a better mother all the way around. I don't even know if that
Yeah.
answers your question. I'm just rambling
No,
at this point, but these are my
it's
thoughts.
it's amazing because and that's what I even tell my own daughter because sometimes she's like, oh, I hope you're happy with what I do or something like that. I'm like, Genevieve, it doesn't matter. I'm happy no matter what because that's not going to affect or diminish my happiness based on what you're doing or what you're not doing. I think that is huge because as you said, it's there then they are not growing up thinking that their success is dependent on how they're making other people happy all
That is
the
just
time,
too much weight for someone to carry through
yeah.
life, right? Like,
Hmm.
I am responsible for your happiness. That's just
Yeah.
a lot of
Hmm.
weight for some little
Yeah.
person growing up to carry all the time.
Hmm.
So I think that's a really important lesson that your daughter feels that from you that, like, oh,
Yeah.
my mom's happy and living her best life. I get to go do
Hmm.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
And exactly. And I think it's very important for us as mothers to have those like realization moments of like, what do we really want to have for ourselves, but also that our children can, see and as an example, because our lives are an example to everyone around us and especially our children. And what are they seeing as they're growing up? What are they going to take away from their childhood and what they're growing up to be, right?
Yeah, and everyone
Exactly.
is so different. I mean, I have three
Yeah.
daughters, two
Mm-hmm.
of them, I have 10 and 7 year old, and they're old enough that I can see their personalities and look and kind of forecast. And I
Mm-hmm.
have one that is probably going to be the president of the United States. She's just like, she's going to be very like,
Yeah.
she wants to lead a company one day. That's going to be her. And then my other one,
Yeah.
she wants to stay home and have 12 babies. Like
Right.
she wants to be a stay-at-home mom and have tons of kids. And I'm like,
Yeah.
that's so great. Like you get
Uh-huh.
to do you. You get to choose that. If
Exactly.
that's what the
Mm-hmm.
life you want, how cool is that? Like if that's
Uh-huh.
what fulfills your soul and makes your
Yeah.
life exactly what
Mm-hmm.
you want it to look like,
Yeah.
go do it. Like you
Yeah.
get to choose that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
think honoring that individual spirit too, because not
Mm-hmm.
everybody wants to go start a company. Not everyone wants to be an
Right.
entrepreneur. Not everyone wants to have kids. Not everyone wants to work. Some people want to be a stay-at-home, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like honoring whatever that
Mm-hmm.
looks like for you,
Yeah.
do it. Figure out how to
Exactly.
do the very best version of that you can, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so, shifting gears a bit, what makes Daily Shade superior to other sunscreens since we want to talk
Oh
about
my
Daily
goodness.
Shade?
I should, oh, here, I'll show you. This is our bottle. This is Daily Shade.
Uh-huh.
First of all, it's so cute. There's that. But okay, watch this. I don't know if you know what most zinc sunscreens look like. 20% zinc with no UV chemical filters. No,
Uh-huh.
I've never done this on a phone. Okay. So most of them are super duper white and greasy and they leave
Uh-huh.
behind this awful white cast. Ours is
Right.
20% zinc,
Mm-hmm.
99.4% naturally derived, and that's what it looks like. I mean,
Amazing.
it leaves no white cast behind. It leaves no
Uh-huh.
color behind on the skin. It just blends in like magic.
Uh-huh.
And so the goal is, here's an interesting thing. Up to 80% of sun damage in a person's entire life happens before the age of 18. Isn't that wild?
Mm-hmm.
So, melanoma, which is the most dangerous form of skin cancer, and my
Mm-hmm.
state of Utah has the most melanoma in the country. It's
Oh,
the number
wow.
one state in the whole country for melanoma.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the reason for that is because we have this exposure when we're children and we have very little protection on our skin cells that are still deciding what they want to become, right? They're replicating
Yeah.
at a really fast rate. The
Uh-huh.
UV radiation from the sun comes down, hits them, it
Mm-hmm.
turns something on, and then 20 years down the road, that looks like skin cancer. That's melanoma, right? It takes decades to develop. So in Australia, for example, they don't
Mm-hmm.
even send their kids out the door to recess in public schools without a wide brim hat, 3-inch
Yeah.
wide brim hat. If the kids
Mm-hmm.
don't bring that, they stay inside. They don't go to recess.
Yeah.
We are behind the times in America with our kids and
Mm-hmm.
sun protection. So our mission as a company is to decrease skin cancer in the rising generation. And the
Mm-hmm.
way we're going to do that is by providing them safe products that are going to not go into their bloodstream and their
Mm-hmm.
skin like a UV chemical sunscreen would,
Yeah.
because we know those are absorbed. They're
Mm-hmm.
endocrine disruptors. They're blocking hormones. They're competing with hormone sites. It's just terrible. And we don't want our children to be exposed to UV chemical sunscreens every day. But we need to find a really clean product like Daily Shade is what it's designed for, daily use for kids, where our kids get in the habit of brushing their teeth and putting on sunscreen every day. That is the reality of what my kids do. That is the reality of what my friends' kids do. That's the movement and the mission that I'm trying to create is
Mm-hmm.
to decrease skin cancer in the rising generation by changing habits, by changing daily habits with our
Mm-hmm.
kids. So I think that's what makes us different. We're the first daily wear sunscreen for kids,
Mm-hmm.
and we disappear like magic, and we're
Yeah.
clean and we're natural. So Yuka, I don't know if you're familiar with the Yuka app. It's like a safety rating app that
Mm-hmm.
tells you how safe products are, and you can scan things through your home. Dangerous because you'll just start throwing everything away. Because you're like, oh my gosh, get this out of
Yeah.
my house.
Yeah.
We are rated 93 out of 100 on that app. It's not pay to play. I can't pay them any money to tell that
Mm-hmm.
story. Like it is what it is. So that's a really scary thing for a business to put their product on there because you can't pay to play on there. But
Yeah.
we're rated 93 out of 100, which we're so proud of because we are
Mm-hmm.
safe, we are naturally derived, we're clean, we're designed for daily use for kids,
Mm-hmm.
but we're also protecting them from the damage of UV rays. Skin cancer is the most common cancer in
Yeah.
America. It's the number one
Mm-hmm.
cancer in all of America. 1 in 5 people will get skin cancer during their lifetime, and it's over 90% preventable with the right daily habits. Like I can help your kid over 90% probability your kid won't get skin cancer if you do the following things. Like, how cool
Right.
is that, right?
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. That's really like eye-opening because I mean, yeah, it because my husband's from Australia, so he was always talking about sun protection.
Yep.
And so and we have our little daughter here and it's really amazing how here in the US, especially during the summer, I mean, it's just like
I know.
we don't even think about it at all unless
Uh-huh.
you're going to the beach or the pool.
And sometimes
Otherwise,
not even there.
yeah,
I was on the Disney cruise just barely in Florida, and I can't tell you how many bright red, it killed my soul. Like walking around the ship and seeing these fried little kids' faces. I'm like, I mean,
oh,
it just kills me. Yeah.
yeah,
Sometimes not even then. We're not thinking about it the way we should be. The skin is the
yeah,
largest organ of our
hmm,
entire body. We
yeah,
need to care for it properly starting in youth. And we
yeah.
just, it's a mind shift. It's
Uh-huh.
a shift.
It is a mind shift. And I love that your mission is changing that and the focus of preventing skin cancer with
Sun
sunscreen.
cancer is what it should be called. Should be called sun cancer, but yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty much 90% preventable if
Yeah, it
we
is.
do these things.
Right.
And so, love that mission. Very important message to get out there. So I'm so happy to help you spread that message.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. This was so
Yeah,
fun. I appreciate you
I
so much. Thank
know.
you.
And but one more thing, like looking back on your life till this point, what would you tell yourself as a child or a teenager? What advice would you give yourself, or belief, conviction?
Ooh. Um, I think I would try to remind myself how important it is to to not look at failure as a bad thing. That
Mhm,
my life is going to be filled with moments that aren't going to go perfectly,
uh-huh,
and that doesn't mean that two things can't be true and that the whole of your life isn't still great.
uh-huh,
And we're going to fail a lot in life, and you pick yourself up and keep going. I think I figured that out along the way, but I wish my 40-year-old self could come back to my, young self and be like, everything's going to work out. It's going to
yeah,
be great. It's going to be
mhm,
awesome. Because if you knew that going into it, if you knew everything was going to be okay, wouldn't you handle life so different? Like if you had that faith, like, oh, life is
yeah,
going to work out and be okay. And
mhm,
that's the reality of the failure mindset, is that you're really having a faith and an abundance mindset that it's going to
mhm,
work out. It's going to be okay as long as you keep going.
yeah,
It's going to work out.
yeah,
Everything's going to work out and be okay. Just you got to just keep going and push past it, and
mhm,
it's going to be great, you
yeah,
know? And I
mhm,
think as a kid, there's that looming, like, what is my life going to be? What is it going to turn? And now that I'm here and looking back, that's easy. But as a young girl, I didn't always feel that.
mhm,
I didn't always think that or feel it as a little girl. It's scary. Life can be
yeah,
scary.
yeah. Have to learn to teach our kids to have hope in
Yeah. Faith that it's all
yeah,
going to work out the
mhm,
way that it needs to, because the world is working toward your favor and the universe is working toward you, that abundance mindset that
mhm,
as long as you keep going, there's going to be hard stuff, there's going to be failures, there's going to be
mhm,
really hard days, but it works out. It
mhm,
all works out.
yeah. And what resources would you recommend for those who want to start a business like yours?
Oh my goodness, there's no good resource. At least I didn't find one. I didn't come across a good resource. If someone out there knows of a good resource that they can send me, please do. I don't think there is one. I honestly,
Oh my
I didn't,
gosh.
there's not, I don't have a resource to even suggest, because I didn't have one going into it. I had to look at a million different places.
Yeah.
So that's a great question for your audience. If anyone knows of a good resource, let's share that to save everybody some angst. But
Yeah.
for sunscreen companies, yeah, not a there's not a resource. I
Yeah.
don't have any advice in that category.
That's
No good
hilarious.
resource. I think you just have to like I said, you just take it literally one step at a time. Like I remember
Mhm.
I went on to the Utah website, and they have a list of like, here's how you write a business plan. Here's how you apply. So that was helpful, right? Like going back to the
Yeah.
basics of that. And I kind
Right.
of ticked
Right.
those boxes.
Yeah.
But then past that, like, no, what's the resource? I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
have one. It's a good question. You
That's
tell me if
awesome.
anyone sends you something great.
We'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
That's hilarious. And leave us with one last piece of encouragement to those who are listening.
One last piece of encouragement. If I can do this, you can do this, because I had no idea what I was doing. And somehow I have a product on market and it's selling and people wear it. And it's the coolest thing I've been a part of, aside from my kids, in my entire life. So my piece of advice is this: if you have a dream in your soul, a hope, a wish, something that you've been putting off, don't put it off anymore. Take one little step today and another step tomorrow and maybe a bigger step the next day, because it's never going to happen if you don't start. And I think there's this mindset that I think people have, that I had too, which is perfect avoidance is better than imperfect starting. Like, people avoid it because they're afraid that it won't be perfect, right? It's not going to be. You're going to screw up and you're not going to know what you're doing, but you just go. And even if it's imperfect and what you do isn't exactly the way that it should be done, you'll figure it out, you'll fix it, you'll come back, you'll edit it, but you just have to go and you have to take the step forward and you have to move. So my advice would be, if there's anyone out there that has a dream or an idea or something, don't wait anymore. Take the first step today. Google whatever it is you need to Google and take that first step, right? Register the business or take the yoga class or whatever it is you have this dream of doing. Just do it. Just start. Life's short, Life is so short. Just do it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Breelyn. It
Thank
was
you.
such a pleasure to meet you and talk to you and hear about your mission and vision for Daily Shade. And I'm going to be listing all your links and products in the show notes, so everyone can check those out at the end of the episode. And thank you so much again. I hope you guys have a wonderful week and spark hope wherever you are. Hold on to hope in times of need and through the process. Hold on to your hope, spark that hope wherever you are. Thank you again so much. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Medicine Motherhood Missions. We hope you found inspiration, insight, and a sense of connection in the stories we shared today. If you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners like you. Follow us on Instagram for updates, free downloads, and to join a community of like-minded individuals passionate about making a difference through medicine, motherhood, and mission work. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Until next time, keep sparking hope, keep healing, keep nurturing, and keep making a difference. This is Johanna signing off from Medicine Motherhood Missions. The medical opinions expressed on this podcast are for the informational purposes only and should not be considered as medical advice. Always consult a licensed healthcare provider for personal medical questions or concerns. The views expressed by guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the podcast host.